I'm going to walk you through how I made a fruit bowl on the pottery wheel. I started off by wedging my clay and then getting it centered on the wheel. I think this was about 3 pounds of clay, so it was a good amount, and I'm still kind of a beginner, so it was a challenge, but it was doable. Next, I used my thumbs to open the center. Everybody kind of does this a different way. I like to use my thumbs because I feel like it gives me a really good balance, but if I'm making something smaller, I'll maybe use one finger. Next, I'm pulling up the sides, and I do this really slowly. When you're making a bowl, you want to make sure that you pull it high enough before you start flaring it outwards, because once you flare it outwards, you really can't add a lot more height. Since I was trying to make a fruit bowl, I had the lip flare outwards versus inwards. If I was making something that I was intending to use for soup primarily, I'd have the flare kind of curve in so it would prevent spills. Next, you'll see me trimming the bowl. Trimming is definitely one of my favorite parts of the process. I find it so satisfying, but I'm definitely still figuring out the best way to go about doing it. And I was trying to get as much clay off as I could to kind of refine the shape, but also make the walls quite a bit thinner because they were a little bit thick and a little bit uneven. After this, I let the clay dry completely, and then it gets its first round of firing, and that first round is called the bisque fire. After it's bisque fired, you're able to glaze it, and then you fire it one more time, and then you have your finished piece. I really want to figure out some kind of maker's mark that I can put on the bottom of all of my pieces, but for now I've just been putting my initials. Next is the most difficult part of the process, and that is choosing a glaze. This time I went with a brown color. Just kidding, it'll change after it gets fired. But you give it a quick dunk, wipe off the bottom, and then fire it one more time. And I am so happy with how this turned out. Beautiful and practical.